Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we are on the second chapter of this book, Perfection of Yoga. The second chapter is entitled Yoga as Work in Devotion. So yoga here means, the whole discussion of this book is about yoga. Yoga here means to link or to connect with the Supreme, right? So Prabhupada says, we have heard the names of so many different yogas and yogis. But in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the actual yogi is he who has surrendered himself fully onto me. So what actual does a yogi mean? One who is a pure devotee, who is totally surrendered to God. That is actual yoga. Krishna proclaims that there is no difference between renunciation, sannyasa, and yoga. It's quite interesting. Generally, people think that there's only two paths. Either you give up everything or you engage in something. But here Krishna says that actually there is no difference if you're doing it for me. If you have given up everything and you're working for me, and if you are doing everything and working for me, it's the same. Because the important thing is that you're doing it or working for me, for Krishna. So here shloka which Krishna proclaims this. Yam sannyasam iti prahu yogam tam vidhi pandava nahi asanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kashana. What is called renunciation is the same as yoga or linking oneself with the Supreme. For no one can become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. So when one gives up selfish desires, sense gratification means selfish desires, that I want to enjoy, I'm the focus, my life is important, things should go according to my way, me, I, my, and the only focus is this, that means it is called sense gratification. So change that focus to what pleases Krishna, what will make Krishna more happy, even if it may cause us some inconvenience. In Bhagavad Gita, there are three basic types of yoga delineated: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So here Karma Yoga means using our physique, our physical body, physical means to try to connect with Krishna, please Krishna. Jnana Yoga is a little higher. You try to use our intelligence and understanding to connect with Krishna. And Bhakti Yoga is where actually we put aside all material desires, all selfish desires. Bhakti means love. Love means there is selflessness. So Bhakti Yoga is the yoga of selflessness. In this, you may use your body, you may use your mind, you may use your words, whatever, it does not matter. Right? Intelligence, it does not matter. The only thing here is that there is a lack of selflessness. There's only selfishness. There's only selflessness. Okay. The systems of yoga may be likened to a staircase, Prabhupada says. So it is Prabhupada's famous analogy of yoga ladder. He says the different schools of yoga are like a ladder. Some may be on the first step, some may be halfway up, or some may be on the top step. When one is elevated to certain levels, he is known as a karma yogi, jnana yogi, etc. In all cases, the service to the Supreme Lord is the same. It is a difference in elevation only. So let's see a small chart which describes this. Here's the Loga ladder. So humans, who do not follow dharma, do not follow shastra, they are compared to animals down here. And a little higher elevation than animal life is following karma kanda, where one follows the Vedas. If you want something, this is the way to get it. It is selfish, but it's some rules and regulations. You want to enjoy, then this is the right way of enjoyment. Follow these rules, you will enjoy. So it is trying to satisfy material desire. It's still selfish, but at least with rules, with regulations, right? Regulation is what makes us human. Higher than that, when there's a little sense of selflessness, then one comes to karma yoga. This is different from karma kanda. Karma kanda is following the rules and regulations for my own benefit. Karma yoga is doing all the same thing, yagyas and this and that, but with the desire to link to Krishna. But still there's some, 50-50. Like Krishna, I want to please you, but at the same time, I also like a luxurious life. Krishna, I want to please you, but at the same time, I don't want to suffer. Krishna, I want to please you, but at the same time, there should be no difficulty in my life. It's like karma yoga. A little higher than that, when one advances in knowledge, spiritual knowledge about this world, where one is not interested in enjoying anything of this world, then that's called Jnana Yoga. Through one's meditation, intellect, one is connecting with the Supreme. Now, these Jnana yogis, they may reach Brahman realization. They may want to merge into the Brahman, or they may go further and practice Astanga Yoga, right? Meditation and some practice where they actually focus on within now, Antaryami. And they can actually get Paramatma realization, the realization of the Lord within the heart. Ultimately, the most highest is Bhakti Yoga, which gives us Bhagavan realization. So one can go through these steps, this yoga ladder, but it may take lifetimes after lifetimes. 10 lifetimes ago, we were like animal-like cannibals. Then we started practicing some basic rules, took us probably 3-4 lifetimes. And then Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So like this, the ladder is very long. The staircase is very long. Prabhupada says that Kali Yuga, now current age that we are in, is so difficult. We cannot wait for all this. So Prabhupada says, direct bhakti, take up directly to bhakti. This is the elevator method. Staircase is there, elevator is there, direct. So you start directly from bhakti and get Bhagavan realization. This is the amazing mercy of the Guru, the Shri Guru, like Srila Prabhupada, who gave people who are from animal level, jump all the way to Bhakti Yoga to get Bhagavan realization and develop love. This is the potency and the power of bhakti and the holy names. Thus, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that he must understand that renunciation, sannyasa, and yoga are the same. Because without being freed from desire and sense gratification, one can become neither a yogi nor a sannyasi. Ultimately, whether to give up everything or to engage everything in Krishna, one should be renounced. Right? So the renunciation is important, giving up personal desires for sense gratification. There are some yogis who perform yoga for a profit, but this is not real yoga. This is commercial yoga. People do, to get some money, to get some, followers, some fame, some name, some skills. Everything must be engaged in the service of the Lord. Whatever we do as an ordinary worker or as a sannyasi or as a yogi or as a philosopher must be done in Krishna consciousness. When we are absorbed in the thought of serving Krishna and when we act in that consciousness, we can become real sannyasis or real yogis. So who is actually a real yogi, bhakti yogi? What is he? Is he a sannyasi? Yes, sannyasi. Even if he's a grihastha, he has that mood, then he is like a sannyasi. Because he's not doing anything for their own pleasure. They're doing everything for Krishna's pleasure. For those who are taking the first step up the staircase of the yoga system, there is work, right? Karma yoga. One has to do some action. One should not think that simply because he is beginning yoga, he should stop working. One should not think that I won't work. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna asked Arjuna to become a yogi. There's a shloka in the 6th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, right? Where Krishna says, Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna, right? That's for Arjuna, become a yogi. But he never tells him to cease fighting. Now, this may seem weird. He's telling him become a yogi, but he never tells don't stop fighting. Quite the contrary, of course. One may ask how a person may be a yogi and at the same time a warrior. This doesn't fit. How can one be renounced at the same time engaged in fighting? Our conception of yoga practice is that of sitting very straight with legs crossed, half closed eyes, staring at the tip of the nose, concentrating in this way in a lonely place. So how is it that Krishna is asking Arjuna to become a yogi and at the same time participate in a ghastly civil war? That is the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. One can remain a fighting man and at the same time be the highest yogi, the highest sannyasi. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that you become a yogi, right? But fight. Why? Now the mood of fighting is I'm fighting for Krishna, fighting for Krishna's pleasure. This is what Krishna wants. This is what will please Krishna. So when one acts, always thinking about Krishna and one acts only for the pleasure of Lord, right? According to Shastras, the word of God, then one is considered a yogi. How is this possible? In Krishna consciousness, one simply has to fight for Krishna, work for Krishna, eat for Krishna, sleep for Krishna, dedicate all activities to Krishna. In this way, one becomes the highest yogi and the highest sannyasi. That is the secret. So as devotees, we should be very cautious that, everything we do is actually meant for Krishna's pleasure. And wherever we catch ourselves, we are doing something for our own pleasure, our own agenda, our own motive, right? That means that is not Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is to train ourselves so that 24 hours we can think about Krishna. So that I can use everything, my tan, man, dhan, my body, my mind, my wealth, everything in Krishna service. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna instructs Arjuna how to perform meditational yoga, like we saw in the 1st chapter of this book. But Arjuna rejects it as too difficult. How then is Arjuna considered to be a great yogi? Although Krishna saw that Arjuna was rejecting the meditational system, he proclaimed Arjuna to be the highest yogi because you are always thinking of me. This is actual yoga. This yoga stage where one is constantly linked with the Lord means one is constantly thinking about Krishna. Has Krishna eaten? Krishna needs his worship. How to connect more people to Krishna? How can others become Krishna conscious? Why do not people know about Krishna? Such a beautiful person. So like this, the mind is always thinking. Thinking of Krishna is the essence of all yoga systems, of the Hatha Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Any yoga system, sacrifice or charity. The purpose is to connect with Krishna, to make everyone to think of Krishna. All the recommended activities for spiritual realization end in Krishna consciousness, in thinking always of Krishna. Like they say, Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu, Vismartavyo na Jatuche. Always think of Lord, never forget him. The actual perfection of human life lies in being Krishna conscious, in being always Krishna conscious, and always being aware of Krishna while performing all types of activities. So this is a practice, devotees that chant always, they go everywhere. Suddenly one day they see something bad happen to them. Maybe they miss the bus while going to work. And they're like, oh, this is Krishna's desire. Nothing happens without Krishna's will. They are able to see like that. Or something good happens. My God, why is the Lord rewarding me? I do not deserve this. Something must be there. They start thinking everything happens. Krishna's desire. In the preliminary stage, one is advised to always work for Krishna. That is Karma Yoga. Because the easiest to engage the senses. So generally, when new people visit the temple, we tell them, would you like to do some seva? Please come, cut some vegetables. Do you mind cleaning the temple? Do you mind collecting this, doing that? Why? It's the easiest to engage the body. Physical is so easy to engage. To engage the mind requires the next step. If you ask people, would you like to sit and chant Hare Krishna? Or would you like to do some seva? And they will say, give me some seva. Right? Because to engage the physical is easy. So that's the first step, Karma Yoga. But to engage the mind, to engage the heart is very difficult. There are many people who will do a lot of external work. Maybe they even will sit and listen to your class, but they may not give their heart to Krishna. So that's why bhakti is the topmost, where we learn to give our heart to Krishna. One must be always searching out some duty or some engagement, for it is a bad policy to remain idle even for a second. As they say, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Krishna has given us beautiful facility of this human body, brains, everything, energy, strength. We should use everything, skills. We should use everything in Krishna's service. If we do not, then we are simply wasting the resources given by God. That will not please him. When one actually becomes advanced to such engagements, then he may not work physically, but he is engaged within by constantly thinking of Krishna. So karma, yoga, jnana yoga. When we not physically act, but one is constantly thinking and contemplating about the Lord. This is a little more difficult. In the preliminary stage, however, one is advised to engage one's senses in the service of Krishna. There are a variety of activities one can perform in serving Krishna. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is intended to help direct aspirant devotees in these activities. So all the ISKCON temples are there that someone can come and do some seva. We invite people. We have thousands and thousands of people visiting our temple. We invite people. Please come, do some prasad distribution. Please come, listen to the lecture. Please come, dance in the kirtan. Please come and give whatever you can in the service of the Lord. This is for your benefit. It's the easiest. For those working in Krishna consciousness, there is simply not enough hours in a day to serve Krishna. There are always activities, engagements, both day, night, which the student of Krishna consciousness performs joyfully. So it's amazing that Krishna consciousness has so much to do. If you ask any devotee in ISKCON, they will say there is just so much to do. It's unlimited, especially if we do preaching. There's so many people to speak to Krishna, about Krishna too. So many people to speak to about Krishna, right? So much cooking, prasadam distribution, so much activities, different ways of preaching and sharing, different books to read, different, devotees to listen to. It's beautiful. This is the stage of real happiness. Constant engagement for Krishna and spreading Krishna consciousness around the world. It's a beautiful line. This is what happiness is. Just serve, 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 serve. Like the story of this old lady who was working so much, carrying wood and this and that. And one day, when she put down that wood pile, she saw a piece of her hair had stuck in that wood. She was in the jungle carrying wood fire, and she saw a piece of her hair stuck in it. And she looked at it, oh my God, it's gray. And she never realized how much time has passed. Her age has gone up, and she's already an old lady. Right? Sometimes we get shocked. My God, where I'm so old now, I forgot. Right? Because so busy, so absorbed in serving Krishna. It's beautiful. In the material world, one may become very tired if he works all the time. Right? That's true. If one goes to work, one feel very tired. But if one works in Krishna consciousness, he can chant Hare Krishna and engage in devotional service 24 hours a day and never get tired. So sometimes for us, we have so much service, there's no difference between a Sunday and a Monday. For us, it's every day, it's just seva. But for those who are working in the material world, they may feel that, oh, I can't wait when a Sunday will come where I'll take a break from my work. For us, we don't want to take a break from our work. Right? We are happy to chant Hare Krishna in the morning, chant Hare Krishna throughout the day, and in between do seva. But if we vibrate some mundane vibration, then we soon become exhausted. Just like someone who sings a cinema song, a film song, again and again and again and again. After a while, they become very frustrated with it, sick and tired of it. But we have been chanting Hare Krishna for years together. ISKCON is now crossed 50 years old, right? Almost 60 years old. So can you imagine, so many devotees since then have been chanting Hare Krishna, same mantra for 5 decades. Still they're not tired. Every day, 2 hours a day, they're not tired. Sing the same song for the last 5 decades, you'll get tired. There is no question of becoming tired on the spiritual platform. This is the proof that how Krishna consciousness is so powerful. The spiritual platform is absolute. There's no tiredness and it's all perfect. In the material world, everyone is working for sense gratification. The profits of one's labor in the material world are used to gratify one's senses, isn't it? People are working so hard to get something just to satisfy their senses. But a real yogi does not desire such fruits. A real yogi, a real devotee, a real bhakta works hard only to satisfy Krishna. He has no desire other than Krishna, and Krishna is already there. He only desires Krishna and he already has Krishna. Therefore, he has no desires. In that way, it's a beautiful chapter speaking about how real yoga is working in devotion.